Okay, good evening, Elberly High School. Great to be with you here. This is a video of syllabus for you in case you don't want to read it. Hopefully more enjoyable for parents. Everybody get these syllabuses home and you kind of just sign maybe, or I don't know, maybe you look at more closely than I do, but I'm finding out having a child, sometimes I don't read everything. So hopefully this video helps for you. My name is Mr. Gantz. This is for the class of college algebra / pre-calculus. We'll talk a little bit about that more as we advance forward. I teach calculus, college trigonometry, college algebra, math for college, statistics. I've taught really just about everything in the school district and the high school, maybe not geometry, but everything else. I'm head boys track and field coach. I'm a link crew coordinator. I've been at ALHS for a little over 10 years. My kids actually are in the Owatonna district. That's where I live. They're in grades 9, 5, and third grade. I got a boxer named Bella and a beautiful bride named Kelly. Why did I become a teacher? I became a teacher because I want to invest my life in the life of others. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to work side by side with students every day and to build that trust and that relationship. I do not take it for granted. So thank you so much as we begin this journey this year, working through education with your child. Course information, there's really two names. Elberly High School calls it pre-calculus. It'll prepare us for calculus in future years. But Riverland calls it college algebra. That's the first semester. For Albert Lee, you get 2 grades. You get 1 per quarter for the high school. But for the college side of it, you get 1 grade. That's an average of 2 quarters. That's your semester grade. So you are enrolled as a college student at this point. It's 3 math credits. You get 4 for college trigonometry second semester. But you must receive 70% or higher, which really isn't an issue for most students. Students that may not get 70%, many of them just refuse to take maybe a test that they were supposed to. Really exhibiting behavior that's maybe not like what you expect for a college student. So I think you should do okay. If you decide to drop the college credit, you need to contact Riverland. Again, you need to seek out your registrar. That's not something I do. So you need to develop that relationship with Riverland. That's your college at receiving credit through. Usually it's around November if you decide to drop that. Say you're getting a 64%. You just don't think you're going to be able to make it. Talk to me, and if you think you should drop it, you really need to make sure you do that. But for most all of you, that should not be an issue. Supplies come ready to go each day: pencil, notebook. I have a graphing calculator. If you don't have a graphing calculator, I understand. They're expensive. If you like to rent one, we rent them for about $20 for a year. And so it's a really good way for us to be able to provide those to math students. Your grade is going to be 15% homework and 85% tests. How do we do homework? Well, homework is not due every day. It's due the day before the test. You might ask me why. When I have homework due the next day, usually I have people come back. The kids were at Red Wing the night before for a soccer game. They're like, Mr. Gantz, I was out at a student activity late at night. I didn't have time to get it done. 50% of the class usually has a reason for not having it done the next day, even if I have it due 2 days later. And I find it's really challenging. Sometimes if I have stuff due right away, people find a way to take pictures of other people's homework and submit it as their own. People start looking up online the answers through wolframalpha.com or other apps that the internet has of doing homework problems for you. And that doesn't help anybody. So I want you to do your homework. Hopefully soon, be able to spread it out according to your schedule. Some of you guys are taking many college classes. I get it. Then you submit the homework the day before the test. And I find that usually works out well. You can check your answers. I post all the answer keys on my website. Here's my website. I'll direct you to that. As you click on college algebra / trigonometry, I always have a nice website a calendar that shows you what we did during that day. And then you can see here, say you want to check answers for chapter 4, because we're covering logarithms. We know everybody's confused about logarithms. And you can see here that I have an answer key ready to go for that section. Great, super helpful. People check it out and they feel good. They feel competent. Hey, I understand what's going on. But sometimes when people check the answer key, they check it actually when they're starting their homework. I've had people actually say, Mr. Gantz, I wasn't able to start my homework because you didn't put up the answer key yet. That's a sign that you don't know what you're doing and you're following along with the answer key to try to figure out what you're doing. It's not a good spot to be. That's a red flag that you need to come in and get me for help. But students are doing that more and more and more. And that's not a good way to go about it. There's nothing wrong with doing your homework and then checking the answer key, say, where did I make a mistake here? Or not knowing how to do a problem, circling it, and then coming and seeing me. But if you can't start your homework without looking at the answer key, looking at your notes, sure. Looking at the book, sure. Looking at video, sure. But if you can't start your homework without looking at the answer key, it's a really, really a rough way to start. You don't want to be there. So you got your homework. You're ready to go. I give you a homework cover sheet a couple days before a test. So that way you can see all the assignments that you were supposed to do during that time. And you can rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 5 in terms of how much you've completed it, work you've done, and everything else like that. Your effort and things and whatnot. And that's not your grade, but that really gives me an idea of how hard you've worked during that time and things I should look for as I look through your homework. So how do I actually compose a grade of your homework? I look for completion. I look for your independent work, and I do look for some accuracy. And usually if you do your best and you try all the problems, you check your work, usually you're getting 100% of that homework. Suppose a day comes 2 days before or a day before the test, and you say you forgot your homework at home. I will give you an oops once a semester. You then just go home, get that homework, and bring it to me the next day. Now, maybe you didn't actually forget it. Maybe you just never did any of it because you procrastinated or life got really busy or you have whatever excuse. Fine. Bring it in the next day. But you get one oops, I didn't get it done or forgot it at home per semester. But it is then due the next day. If you don't like it, if you want to turn your homework in the day after it's signed, go ahead. It's fine by me. I'll take it early, but most people appreciate that, especially as you guys have lots of things going on. Tests. A study guide be given before every test, at least 2 days in advance. You're going to have time to work on that in class. If you do miss the day of the test and you knew it was going to happen, I'm going to have you take it the next time I see you. If you've been sick at home for a few days, I'm going to give you that time to make it up. But I have had situations where students are actually present the entire day, but are just absent the hour of my class for my test. You're going to get that test next time I see you. Parents, if there's a concern that you guys have where your kid wasn't able to prepare for some reason, I could be very understanding. But I've also seen how hard your child has been working during class, and I could tell you whether or not they've been procrastinating during that unit. So you might want to reach out to me and talk to me. And also just remember, you do get one retake per semester. So if you feel like you're not going to do well, take that D or F or C on your test, and then take the retake and do well. I'll help you prepare for it. There's no timeline on it. And I'll give you the better of 2 grades. So if you don't take the test on time and you delay 2 to 3 weeks, which is not uncommon for some kids before you make that test up, you lose your retake because that is your retake. So please keep that in mind. Checkpoints. You're going to give short quizzes or take short quizzes every few days. It's a formative assessment. So that means it tells me how you're doing and it tells you how you're doing. It tells us what we need to practice, but it doesn't count towards your grade. Put them in the grade book, but it doesn't count towards your grade. It's a way for us to gauge where we need to move and what we need to cover better. General class practices, make sure that you're ready to participate. I hope that you're ready to ask questions and answer questions. This should be a dialogue back and forth. If you got a question, chances are half the class is asking the same thing. So bring it up. And I would hope that multiple people will have answers to questions as well, and we could keep that dialogue going. If you give a wrong answer, it's okay. It happens a lot, and we just talk about what is right about your answer and how we can figure things out from there. No food, no drink, no backpacks, especially people who like to go to Caribou in the morning, get your mocha and everything else. Keep that out of class. That's not where we need to be, okay? And stay off your cell phones. Parents, if you were wondering if your child has a cell phone addiction, I'll tell you. We can talk about that. It is a real thing. Are cell phones allowed in class? Well, sure. Parents, you actually communicate with your kids during the day. I understand that. But it can become a severe issue. And if you want my opinion, I'll be very frank with you. I would have concerns if my child was going off to college and wasn't able to regulate their cell phone usage appropriately. So we're entering that adult stage. We need to make sure we're taking care of that. Negative behavior, I'll give you warnings in class. We'll have conversations after class if your behavior is poor. We maybe need to meet with the dean of students or principal. If you're cheating on stuff, if you cheat on a test, that will very much result in the failure of that test and possibly, depending on how bad the cheating is, possibly failure of the course. That would be Riverland's policy as well. So this is a college level class. I need to make sure that you're being honest. Remember, you get one retake a semester, so no need to cheat. And finally, ACT practice. Many of you will be taking the ACT test this year. We have a large assortment of practice tests. We'll be doing some practice in class. Would love to help you all be able to get that a nice ACT score that you want or improve on previous scores. We've had people who've scored 35, 36 on the math portions. I'd love to help you do the same thing. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to a great year. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns.